Have you ever walked into a crowded room, a packed subway, or a busy shopping mall and instantly felt your chest tighten, your head spin, or your brain screaming, "Get me out of here"? You're not imagining it. For some people, being around lots of people isn't just annoying, it's stressful, overwhelming, and even physically exhausting. Today, we're going to explore the psychology behind why some people hate crowded places, what's happening in the brain, and practical ways to cope. Stick around because by the end, you'll understand yourself or someone you know on a whole new level. Crowded places are sensory overload central. Think about it. Sights, sounds, smells, touch, all compressed together. The brain is constantly processing information, but in a packed environment, it has to work overtime. People who hate crowds often have more sensitive sensory processing, meaning each beep, chatter, and movement hits harder. This triggers stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. Suddenly, the room feels hotter, louder, and more chaotic than it really is. This isn't being antisocial, it's biology. Your brain is simply trying to manage more input than it can handle. And sometimes, the only solution is to escape the stimuli entirely. It's not just sensory overload, it's emotional too. Crowded spaces often amplify social anxiety. You suddenly feel judged, watched, or trapped. Even small social cues like someone brushing past you or someone staring can trigger fight or flight reactions. Your heart races, your muscles tense, your mind jumps to worst-case scenarios. Here's the twist. Even if you logically know nothing bad will happen, your body reacts as if it's in danger. That's why some people avoid concerts, malls, or busy streets, even if they love the activity in theory. Here's a weird truth. Disliking crowds isn't always anxiety. It can also be introversion or a need for cognitive space. Introverts recharge alone. Crowds drain them. Their brains crave lower stimulation. Being around too many people disrupts mental clarity, focus, and energy. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle while someone is shouting beside you. That's how crowded environments feel for some people. Mental noise prevents concentration and leaves them exhausted. Your body reacts to crowds like it would to a threat. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, lights up. Heart rate increases. Breathing becomes shallow. You might even feel nauseated or dizzy. This is called hyperarousal, and it's a normal stress response that can be extreme for some people. Over time, repeated exposure without coping strategies can lead to chronic stress or avoidance behaviors. The key isn't labeling this as weakness, it's understanding it's a natural response that can be managed. Ironically, being in a crowd can feel isolating. For someone sensitive to social stimuli, everyone else's joy, chatter, or movement can feel like noise rather than connection. They may withdraw internally, zoning out, or clinging to personal space. This feeling of alone in a crowd is more common than you think, and it can fuel frustration, irritability, or even resentment toward crowded events. Recognizing that this is a valid emotional experience is the first step towards coping. Here's a pattern-breaking fact. Millions of people feel this way even if they mask it with a smile or avoidance. Neuroscience shows that some brains are wired to detect overstimulation more acutely. It's called sensory processing sensitivity, and it affects 15 to 20% of people. You're not alone. This helps reduce shame and encourages self-compassion, key tools for surviving crowded environments. Preparation is everything. People who manage crowds successfully don't just tough it out, they plan. Knowing when the crowd will peak, mapping exits, bringing headphones or stress tools, and having a personal space strategy can reduce stress. For example, at a concert or store, arriving early or late to avoid peak times, or using quieter areas for breaks can make a huge difference. Even mental rehearsal, visualizing yourself moving through the crowd calmly, trains the brain for resilience. Breathing techniques and grounding exercises work wonders. Deep diaphragmatic breaths, finger tapping, or scanning your surroundings to note 5 calm objects can reduce sympathetic nervous system activation. Music or white noise through headphones can also block overstimulation and create a personal bubble in public spaces. These small interventions give the nervous system a chance to calm down, making crowded spaces less overwhelming. Another strategy is cognitive reframing. Instead of seeing a crowd as chaos, see it as movement, energy, or background. Shifting perspective helps reduce the emotional impact. For example, notice patterns, people moving like a wave, colors changing, music in the air. Turn sensory overload into mindful observation. Gradual exposure, mindfulness training, and even therapy can reduce aversion over time. Exposure therapy involves slowly and safely increasing contact with crowded environments, allowing the brain to habituate. Pair this with grounding techniques, and crowds become more tolerable. Sometimes, crowd anxiety is part of a larger anxiety disorder or sensory processing issue. If crowded environments consistently cause panic, nausea, or disrupt daily life, professional help may be necessary. Therapists can provide cognitive behavioral tools, stress management techniques, and coping strategies tailored to individual needs. The ultimate lesson is you can't always control the crowd, but you can control your reaction. Preparation, self-soothing, perspective shifting, and small habit changes empower you to navigate crowded spaces without feeling overwhelmed. Your nervous system can be trained and your mind can be guided toward calm even in chaos. Being uncomfortable in crowded places isn't a flaw, it's a normal response for many people. Recognize your triggers, respect your boundaries, and use strategies like preparation, self-soothing, and reframing to reclaim calm. Remember, you can survive and even thrive where crowds exist. Thanks for watching. If this helped you understand yourself or someone you know, hit like, share with friends, and subscribe for more psychology insights. Crowds may be overwhelming, but now you have the tools to navigate them with confidence.